welcome back to the second episode of Through the Table podcast. So, my name is Jerry, the host, and I'm here again with Braulio, my brother. And now we have another person that's here with us. He is my other brother that we talked about in our last episode. If you can introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Edson. I'm the middle one.
For sure. Well, so we could get things started. I want to ask you some of the questions that me and Braulio talked about at the beginning of our podcast of wrestling, because we talked about how we grew up watching wrestling. Like, I was maybe a baby when you guys started watching wrestling, and then now to this day, we still watch wrestling to this day. So I just wanted to ask, like, how old were you when you started watching wrestling?
I think like when we became a fan, I think we were around. I can't remember, like 8 or 9, maybe 7, maybe. We've had glimpses of it. I know last episode, Brawley was like, "Oh yeah, we saw a few matches," but I remember when Brawley and I, when we were it was just us two. I think we were like 6 or 7. We tuned into like this channel back in this old place that we used to live in, like with our uncle, and it was like we didn't know anything about wrestling. All we saw was this guy on his knees. It was Vince McMahon, and like The Rock was trying to get him to like kiss somebody's ass, and then like Tori Wilson, or I can't remember who came out, some girl, and then he got all excited, and then later on Rikishi came out, and then they like shoved his face on Rikishi's butt. So that was like the first like introduction we had, but like I said, we had no idea like what it was. It just looked funny, and because we saw some of it like back in Mexico, like with Lucha Libre, when we were growing up, and then anyway, so then I think I want to say probably one of like the first matches we saw in WWE was probably with Rey Mysterio face Matt Hardy for the Cruiserweight title back in like 2001, 2002, I think it was. It was a SmackDown. It was a main event, and that was probably like our first. Like, we were just flipping through channels. I think it was like on UPN 45 or something like that. And so yeah, that was our first introduction to it. And ever since that, we became fans of SmackDown, because back then Raw was only on Spike TV at that time, and then we didn't have cable, so. yeah. So every Thursday night, back then it was on Thursday nights, and we saw Rey Mysterio, the Guerreros growing up. Christian and Edge were a thing at that time. You had the Dudley Boys, or not the Spike Dudley. Spike Dudley was there at that time.
Tajiri champions.
Tajiri?
Tajiri, no?
Yeah, they were tag team champions at one point.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
The Bastion brothers. Man, there was a lot. Sable, I think her name was. Sable was in there. Zach Gowen there in that run that he had with the Big Show and Vince McMahon. Mr. USA or Captain USA, I can't remember. It was like Hulk Hogan with like Captain. Yeah, it was like a Hulk Hogan and like this weird gimmick of like wearing like a USA, nothing like a Grande Americano, no, but like it was just funny how that was. But anyway, so that's kind of like how we got into it, and then later in life we finally got cable, and we were able to watch some of a lot of Raw, and then that's when we started watching both Raw and SmackDown. And at that time the draft was like heavy, like people were actually like doing drafts, like Shelton Benjamin. Oh man, we cried when he went over to Raw, because we loved Shelton Benjamin, and SmackDown he was such an amazing athlete.
That's when the brand stuff actually counted.
Yeah, like when the brand stuff was legit. Yeah, and then John Cena went to SmackDown, and then Batista came over to. John Cena went to Raw, and Batista came over to SmackDown, which was pretty cool. But yeah, like what Braulio said back then, the brand actually meant something. Like, you know, if you were a diehard SmackDown fan, like you went against people at Raw, it was really cool. So it was cool. It was a cool time to live, you know, like during we just left the Attitude Era. It was just an aggression era, and then it was just kind of like back and forth after that.
Yeah. And then like what made you like become like a fan of like I'll probably combine this with like as like one question like what made you a fan of wrestling, and like who were your favorite wrestlers that you like were hooked? They're like, okay,
Oh
this
man,
wrestler
I
got me,
mean,
like,
like I said, like back in Mexico, we weren't diehard fans. I mean, we knew of lucha libre, like obviously El Santo, El Blue Demon, Psychosis. Like you've heard of those like luchadors back in Mexico, and like I said, you know, Brawley and I were born there. So then when we moved to the States, like we didn't. We knew of wrestling, but like didn't watch any of it. So WWE was totally different from Lucha Libre, and I think we just got hooked like right off the bat after that match with like Rey Mysterio. We connected with him just because he was a Latino man, and he was just like I said, he was a Latino guy, and we just connected with him so fast. And you know, Eddie Guerrero, the Guerreros came out and they were hot. You know, they were really popping too. You know, Chavo and Eddie, and you know, we fell in love with them, the Guerreros, and we thought they were brothers at one point, and then later on we found out they were, you know, nephew and uncle. But anyways, yeah, those three really like ignited us, you know, into loving, you know, the brand and loving like what it is. Which I thought, obviously Chris Benoit, we can talk about his in-ring stuff. Obviously he was probably one of the best out there to do it. You know, we won't talk about the other stuff, but you know, he was one that really got us into loving wrestling as well. If you watch his in-ring performance, I mean, there's no way you can't love him. Kurt Angle, same with him. He was funny. He was just an amazing athlete. He did everything he could in the ring, and then he outside the ring, he can make you laugh, make you pop. Like he had everything, you know. And I think SmackDown of that era was so peak. You know, SmackDown during that time, I think, was a 10 out of 10. Like every like you had to tune in and watch like what was going to happen, especially that Zach Gowen storyline with him trying to become a pro was like amazing. There's so many other ones we can go, like, you know, the Bashan brothers and the Guerreros, like that back and forth rivalry they had when Eddie Guerrero won the United States Championship belt. That was really cool too, when he had that run with the United States belt. But yeah, I mean, you know, there's a lot of good wrestlers out there that we grew up watching. Obviously Undertaker was a big name that we fell in love with. You know, John Cena was an upcoming star at that time. Brock Lesnar, the Brock Lesnar and the Eddie Guerrero was one of my favorite moments. And you know, me and Brawler were obviously we didn't watch the thing live. What we would do actually is after like a pay-per-view was out, the magazine would come out right away. So me and Brawler ran down like to like the nearest Food City and like just start flipping through the magazine, see who won the matches, who did everything, because that was the only way we could like find out who could win. And so that was like really cool. You know, when Eddie Guerrero finally won the belt, that was probably a big moment for us.
All right, and then I got two more questions for you. And then,
Mm-hmm.
so if you could be a wrestler, what kind of wrestler would you be?
Oh man, I don't know, man. Like first, I'm not like any. I mean, me and Brawler wrestled a lot in mom and dad's bed, and we broken some walls on accident. And I don't know. I think I don't know if I could be a grappler, or aerial. I think I'd just be more technical, maybe like just a lot of technical, like probably you know, like a I don't know, see, because
Technical or
probably, but see, but Angles also has his wrestling background, which is very grapple as well. Maybe grapple a little bit in there. Yeah, maybe like a Kurt Angle-ish type of thing. You know, jumping off turnbuckles. I don't know if I have the balls to do that, but you know, if I was in the ring.
like Undertaker or Batista or.
Yeah, but sadly, I'm not like 6'7" like they are, you know. But yeah, if I had an opportunity to be in the ring, I just go out there, just have fun every night, you know.
Bet. And then the last question to introduce yourself, or just a little introduction, since you already talked about, who you liked growing up. You talked about the Guerreros, Rey Mysterio, Kurt Angle, and a whole bunch of other wrestlers.
Hmm.
So wrestling now, who 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 catches your attention, or how can I put this, like, which wrestlers do you like watching now, and when we watch wrestling today?
Man, that's a crazy question. Just because, like, I think nowadays, like the superstars now are 10 times more talentful than the pool we had growing up. And the only reason why I say that is because these people are like my age or just a little bit younger now. And I mean, they've played all like the wrestling games. They play like, all these things. So they create this fantasy and they put it on the game, kind of like me and Braulio did growing up. But when we played Day of Reckoning or we played like SmackDown versus Raw, you can create your own character and then you build them around like your fantasy. And these guys are living it. You know what I mean? So like when I think of, like Neville when he was in WWE, now he's at AEW when he's Pac, phenomenal. I mean, I love the dude inside and out. In WWE, there's man, there's a lot, man. Honestly, like upcoming stars right now. I mean, there's just so many um, that are just phenomenal. I mean, Seth Rollins is amazing. The stuff he does. Roman Reigns also great guy. I mean, he's been carrying the company for so many years. People hated him at first, and then now he started getting a lot better. And then that heel run he did, like, I mean, dude's phenomenal. Um, there's just a lot, man. Like the women's division, I think for me that's the biggest thing because growing up, like me and Braulio, like the women's division, it was just tits and ass. Like that's literally it. Like every time a woman was in it, it was always like a bra bikini match. It was always like like Tori Wilson and like Sable. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we liked it. Yeah, like 10, 11, 12, 13 year old kids just like watching this and going through hormonal changes and stuff like that. So I mean, it was funny to watch that. I had a buddy. I mean, you guys know him. His name's Eddie. I went to his house once, and I was trying to get him to watch wrestling. I was like, dude, you gotta watch wrestling. It's so cool. Like it's SmackDown. I went over to his house on a Thursday. It was a Zach Gowen storyline. Like Sable goes into like his room and like starts making out with Zach Gowen. And I remember Eddie's like, how he is. Like his mom's very strict on like what we watch, and then he's like, "Bro, like what is this?" So I changed it. I was like, "All right, let's change it. That way your mom doesn't walk in on us and watching this two people just like hardcore like making out." And then like 10, 15 minutes later, we come back and we turn it on again. Hopefully, there's like some in ring action he could watch, and like they're still making out. And we're just like, okay, never mind. I ain't gonna show you any wrestling anymore. But yeah, I mean, like the women's division in today's world, like in today, is actually really fun to watch. Women are more risking. They're doing more moves like the men's do, and a lot of women put out 10 out of 10 matches, which is like really good to see. Like, Charlotte Flair is one of my favorites. I love her to death. She's phenomenal. Alexa Bliss, phenomenal. Liv Morgan, the stuff she does. What's her name? The Tiffany girl too. She's good too. Yeah, amazing. I mean, these athletes are like they're so good. I mean, I think on Raw this last week it was we'll talk about it, but it was the Asuka and Rhea Ripley. I mean, the whole crowd chanting "This is awesome" on like two amazing like women like that. For me, like I think that's what tops it is that not only do you have men in the WWE now that are like 10 out of 10 matches, like now you get like the women's version, and they're actually like 10 out of 10 matches, which is having something we haven't seen in growing up in wrestling.
True. Alrighty. Well, I'm happy excited for the second episode. I know I keep pushing it back since like the first episode that we're gonna record tomorrow, and then the next day, and then the next day, and then the next day after that, and then the following week. But now we finally got the second episode going. So there's a lot of things that we could have talked about. Like Dominic Mysterio becoming the Mega Campeonato champion, or AJ Styles losing against Dominic Mysterio. There's a lot of things that we could have talked about too, but I got lazy. But I'm cheered to try to improve and I really do want this podcast to start going and moving forward. So I'm just gonna talk about from this week. So we'll start from Raw. But I think the three biggest storylines right now that I've seen is Division. Right now, we have like Seth Rollins, who is the world heavyweight champion, with two who I believe is like the future faces of WWE, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, and they have Becky Lynch and also Paul Heyman. So yeah, we'll start with Division on where we think they'll head to, because they just had a tag team match against the Usos, and they beat the Usos with by pinfall, and LA Knight being the ref from what was the pay-per-view called? Was it WrestlePalooza, right?
Yeah, WrestlePalooza.
And LA Knight was the ref, and Jey Uso and LA Knight having that beef that they have. So now that Division is now targeting Cody Rhodes, because now Seth Rollins is having
his match.
Cody Rhodes, I think
Birth.
it's called Clash in Perth. Yeah, Perth.
No, Crown Jewel.
For that, or Crown Jewel. Yes, thank you, Crown Jewel, for that big Saudi Arabia title. So probably just want to know like what do you guys' opinions on the Vision storyline so far, with where they're heading, with Becky Lynch, with AJ Lee, with like the two members of the Visions, Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, and Seth Rollins. Because right now they're probably one of the biggest faction right now in WWE right now. So where do you think they're heading towards? Like, you think Seth Rollins is going to win that match against Cody Rhodes, or feel free to jump in.
Braulio, what do you think?
Well, my opinions about the Vision is I don't like Becky Lynch that she's in there. That's just part of my personal opinion about it. I mean, I guess just because they're trying to set up the match with
CM Punk,
with CM Punk and AJ Lee, but I don't think the Vision is right now is not very relevant. I guess in a way, I guess they still. I mean, my perspective of it, things are still getting pushed with the Vision. So I haven't seen a lot of their matches just because work and things like that. So I've been trying to catch up here and there, like on the highlights, watching videos and trying to catch up on it. So that's just on me, not catching up more of the Vision. But I do like the setup. I do like the who's on it. Seth Rollins, Paul Heyman, Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker is just a beast. And I think this being in this group is going to give him a push, which is something he needs. I think he could do good as a single, but come from NXT, not to WWE. I think they just kind of want to, like, I don't want to say baby him, but they kind of like just give him a push and put him in a group. And I think that is the beneficial side of it, with it, just to help him to beat the beast, just to be the animal of that group. But it's just, I feel there's too many beefy guys in there in their group, because now that's with Brock Lesnar coming back and play, and Paul Heyman being
hinting that,
with,
right?
Hinting that. So I don't know if that's going to be a story play. Rumor has it that the Vision is probably going to be like the Survivor Series with like Brock Lesnar and John Cena's probably the other team for Survivor Series. I don't know if that's like happening or not, but that's what's like.
I don't want to see one of John Cena's last matches to be a war game. I don't want that.
Nah. So, but like I said, I do like all the people that's in there so far. I just don't like Becky Lynch that she's in it. So it just kind of took away when I saw them. Like I said, I get like they were trying to get the match going with CM Punk and AJ Lee with that, but I just think that just kind of took out of it for a little bit with that. So I just hope the Seth Rollins and the Division will go back together. I don't know what's Becky Lynch is going to be like after the feud is over. What's going to happen with her? So that's kind of like my perspective of it. That's the reason I don't want Becky Lynch in there. Ever since she came back, I just feel like I wasn't with Becky Lynch. I just feel like she came as a babyface in WrestleMania.
Won the tag match with Valkyrie.
Then became heel like
the next day. The next day. Yeah, so the next Raw.
Then I'm like, what the heck? So that's the reason I kind of like what they do with Becky Lynch. I don't know, like it's just kind of my opinion about it. Is just that I don't think she's not a right fit right now where she's at.
Well,
they had a segment. And like she was talking all the time, and then they said, "I was just talking." Just like, I'm like, man, that sounds like my marriage. Just kidding. I was just like, what the heck? And she just kept yapping. I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, yeah, man, I feel you. But other than that, I'm like, okay. But
yeah, I mean,
I like Becky Lynch, but I just like at the moment, I just like I don't know where they're going towards her. She's the IC champ for the women's division, so I think the IC champ is just irrelevant in her right now. I think it should push another talent that could probably benefit from that belt. But like I said, I just don't know what's the plan for her, and I just don't know that she's.
I mean, I don't want to jump in a lot with Becky Lynch just because, like, you know, I think very briefly, you know, they're hinting towards her and AJ Lee, right? I mean, hence why AJ Lee came on a SmackDown, took the title away from her for that weekend, and then returned it back on Raw. Like, there's gonna be, you know, probably a feud there coming here soon. Probably on tomorrow on Raw, we might see something start sparkling there. I don't mind Becky Lynch in the Vision. I think it's kind of cute in a way, and I say cute just because it's like, you know, like Seth is like the big boss, you know, the mob boss in that group, and then like having his wife there. The both of them as heels, first of all, has been like the best thing that's happened in WWE. It's the most entertaining thing to watch. It's been the most thing to make you want to tune in. You know, the whole AJ Lee chants and Clash in Paris, and then her saying like, you know, like she's not even here, like stop chanting for her, and then goes on low blow CM Punk. I mean, like that build up was beautiful. The build up, like, so Becky Lynch, like, though you don't agree with her being in the Vision, I think she's been a great impact in there. Just comes with the package, you know, being with, you know, obviously being Seth Rollins' husband or wife, you know, so like them being together, husband and wife, you know, that comes with the package. But as far as like the Vision itself, with, you know, the both Browns and then with Seth Rollins, I think they are that is a beautiful like team to watch. I mean, every week they're involved into something. Braun Breaker is a badass. Obviously, that's his gimmick. I mean, Bronson Reed is he makes me laugh in a good way. Like, I mean, his facial expressions is just so like heel. It just makes me chuckle. Just like, oh, he's just like, you know, and he's got the shoes on her, and like he's just for some weird reason it works, you know. And I love watching them, just because, like I said, they're relevant. You know, back when you had with Triple H, Ric Flair, and Batista, what were they called? The Evolution. Yeah, when they were Evolution, they were everywhere. Like, you saw them constantly. You know, they were in main eventing every Raw, every show. They were the ones to talk about. You know what I mean? And like, to bring that back, you know, it is pretty cool to watch. You know, so like every Monday now, it's entertaining to see what's going to happen. One, because you have a phenomenal, you know, people that's in that group, you know, with the Bronze and Seth Rollins, and then that hinting towards Brock Lesnar. You know, it's going to be like an impossible group to beat, you know. But I love where the storyline is going with them. Obviously, they're hinting towards Braun Breaker and Roman eventually. Obviously, that's coming soon. We don't know how soon, but they're planning that. That's a big one. And then obviously it's going to end somewhere near Seth and Roman again. I don't think it'll be WrestleMania. I don't think Seth is taking the championship into WrestleMania. I think he'll lose it somewhere down the road between now and WrestleMania. That's just my opinion. But yeah, the vision itself I think is great. I mean, we've gotten some great storylines with the Usos. Them doing another match tomorrow night. I mean, it's whatever. It's probably gonna be the main event. What's a TLC, right? It's a Tornado Extreme Rules match, something like that.
I think so.
Yeah. So I mean, the match is gonna be great just because it's them. But then you have the LA Knight thing still going back and forth. But I mean, right now the vision is the thing to watch. Like, if you're watching Raw, you're watching what the Vision is doing, what they're doing next. The attack on Roman Reigns was beautiful. Like, obviously Roman Reigns needed a break, so they run that way. So he's going to be out for a while. But yeah, anything the Vision is doing is great. And then I just, eventually we'll get the Braun and Roman here soon, and then I think down the road we'll get Seth and Roman as well.
Yeah, I agree. I do believe that, when I saw the Vision, the first thing I thought was Evolution, where I kind of thought Braun Breaker is more kind of like a Batista, more like that tanky, like tanky guy, and so far, like, I do enjoy the Vision and what they've done, and also we saw them just recently in SmackDown going against Cody Rhodes and Randy. So I believe we might see a match between those four, maybe at first. I don't know, there's no announcement for that yet. But yeah, but so far I do enjoy this push that these guys from. Well, I think Bronson Reed has been there a lot longer than Braun Breaker, if I'm not mistaken. But I believe, like, I agree with Bolly what he said, that this is gonna help Braun Breaker coming from NXT and having that that really good intercontinental run that he had played solo for a bit, and now I believe that with this push, sorry, I'm like moving my camera. This push is going to help Braun Breaker, I believe, to become, a bigger star. Where, in my opinion, I can see Braun Breaker being, like the top guy, like Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns level, because of just how explosive he is, how good he is in ring, and how good he is at. I believe he cuts pretty good promos. But yeah, moving on, I want to also talk about the Judgment Day, and I am really, really excited to talk about the Judgment Day, because one of my favorite wrestlers that I like watching right now is Dominic Mysterio. I think he's super hilarious, and everything we've seen with him so far. So just a little recap. We saw at Worlds Collide that he beat El Hijo de Vikingo at Worlds Collide. We thought the Judgment Day wasn't going to interfere, but they did interfere. But they, I would say, kind of did something. But who helped the most was his amigo El Grande Americano. And so far, there's been the past 2 weeks, like Raws, we saw some conflict between Dominic Mysterio or not conflict, I'll say like tension, I would say. Like, things were a little tense. We did see this last Monday how Raw opened with Rusev just getting in Dominic Mysterio's face, and then Dominic Mysterio asked Finn to take care of Rusev, but Finn was like, "Nah, I'm good." And then he talked to JD saying, like, we're boys, like, you should like help me out, and then set a match with Rusev. But kind of want to bring up, because we saw it was all over social media that Liv Morgan is back,
or rumored to come back.
Yeah, it's rumored to come back. There was on social media, she had like a picture with the pictures of the 2 belts that Dominic Mysterio was holding. So just what your thoughts are, like, do you think the Judgment Day is, like, what are you guys' opinion with Judgment Day moving forward? Like, you guys think Judgment Day, they're going to disband the Judgment Day, or do you think there's going to be like a little, what do they call it, maybe like a civil war? I would say, like, in the Judgment Day. So yeah, what do you guys think?
Um, you want to go, brother, or you want me to go first?
Go ahead.
Okay, so here's the thing. It's like, okay, if you're gonna dismember Judgment Day, there's a lot of that goes into this factor. One, because like you just have so many members, so like to dissolve all the members, I don't think it's gonna be possible. So there's really only like two options. It's either is Dominic Mysterio gonna continue being heel, or is he gonna go babyface, right? So if he's gonna go heel, then at one point you're gonna have to think that if he stays heel, he'll just leave the Judgment Day by himself, and then Judgment Day becomes babyface, you know, or he just gets beaten up and then he turns babyface, kind of like all the other members who's been on there, and eventually leave. They all just get their backs turned against the Judgment Day. But here it's interesting because it's looking like Dominic is turning his back already on the Judgment Day, hence how he won the Mega Campeonato with the Grande Americanos coming and helping instead of like the Judgment Day, even though the Judgment Day were there. But it was just kind of funny how, it's all story building, right? It's like, how when he won it, the first person he hugged out was the Grande Americano, or not even the first person. It was just like a weird embrace. How he embraced them was different than how he embraced his core members. Right. So I think the answer to the question is what's Dominic. It's answering with another question. It's what's Dominic Mysterio going to be? Are we going to keep him as heel? And if that's the case, are we turning Judgment Day babyface? I mean, you got Liv Morgan coming back hinting it, with what we saw on Twitter. And then if that's the case, does she come back with open arms just like nothing happened when you had Roxanne Perez also in there? So are we going to see Liv and Roxanne one-on-one, especially because you had, was it Roxanne? Is that her name? Raquel, her tag team partner. It's Raquel Rodriguez, right? I mean, her and Liv were a partner, right? So then now, so there's going to be already a weird feud there right off the bat. And then, like I said, then you got Dominic. So what's the case? Are Liv and Dominic going to just turn their backs again, and then they continue as heels, where the Judgment Day maybe gets placed in a spot where they finally become a baby face as a group? Or is there just going to be like Jerry says, it's going to be like a civil war? I don't know. I think it just depends on how we see where Dominic is going. For me personally, I think Dominic stays as heel. I think that's been his best moment. I don't think him switching face will help him at all. I think he's already phenomenal going as heel. So I think him turning and just stepping away from Judgment Day will be the best storyline, in my opinion, and then him beefing with Finn Balor somewhere close down the line where maybe he drops the title to Finn Balor.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, we saw Finn Balor recently at the NXT Homecoming, where he came out as the Balor Club theme song. So, and I feel like it's hinting that he also, or that people want him to bring back like the old theme song of the old Finn Balor. I don't know, what are your thoughts, brother?
I think, with Dominic Mysterio, it's kind of interesting situation. I don't think he'll be a face or a heel. I think he's just going to do his own thing. I know the crowd is going to probably be more babyface. He's already practically a babyface. Like, let's just be honest. I think he's one of those babyfaces that he, like, and Eddie Guerrero had the same momentum, and I think he's pulling from that, because when Eddie lied, cheated, and steal, he was a babyface still when he lied, cheated, and steal. And people like that. The people say so. He did, like, I rooted for Dominic Mysterio to win, even though he was cheating, and technically that's a heel move. But we were rooting for him like to win. So, and then it's funny because Hijo del Marquino, he was supposed to be the babyface, and he was getting booed. So it's just kind of interesting to me. Like, it just kind of seemed like Dominic Mysterio doesn't need to actually have like a full face turn,
exactly,
because technically he's already a baby face in a way, because people are already accepting him, and I think he's supposed to be a heel, but he's playing as a baby because everybody loves him, and everybody's down with him. So you're not hearing much as a boos from the crowd. So that's why I think he's more of an interesting situation. Like, he can play, like, as long as he does like an actual heel move, then people will boo him like back in the day. Like the whole thing with when he betrayed Rhea Ripley. Yeah, that was a heel move. So yeah, he was a heel. But now, like just the way he has the charisma going behind him, the crowd behind him, he improved a lot since these last few years, especially putting with Rhea Ripley. It has helped him a lot with where he's at. But now, I just think I think for me, he's a babyface now. And then the whole thing with trying to go into Rusev and then thinking about it, not going out, like they're already hinting. I mean, he's already practically, but like people can make an excuse. But it's like, yeah, Rusev, a big guy, of course he's not going to fight this guy. You know, you can like people going to have excuse for Dominic not to go against Rusev. So it's like it's he's in a tricky situation. So I don't think he. I mean, for me, he's technically a babyface. Like nobody's booing him because he's not doing any heelish moves. Even though cheating is a heelish move, but still, like he's getting away with it. People are behind it. They wanted him to be a champion. I think. I popped when freaking Grand Americano came out and stopped it, even though that's a heelish move. Nobody booed. Everybody cheered. If you noticed, when
he pulled the ref.
We pulled the ref. And usually when people do that move, they usually boo. So it's kind of like I think it's in this situation. I think it is pulling a lot what Eddie Guerrero did back in the day because Eddie Guerrero did lie, cheat, and steal. But when people did see it, people cheered for that because that was his thing. But knowing the background of, I think because everybody knows the background of Dominic Mysterio, Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero were best friends, and Dominic knew Eddie Guerrero, so they kind of knew the back. So I think that's the reason why he's kind of in a tricky situation with pulling the light chains, because he does have a lot of Eddie Guerrero's moves. He has the Three Amigos, he has the Frog Splash, so he is pulling from both sides. He is pulling from from Rey Mysterio's moves arsenals or whatever, and he's also pulling stuff from the technical side of Eddie Guerrero. So so that aspect of it, it's like I just don't think he's the. I think at the moment, to me, he's a face. He's a baby face. So I think that aspect of now going with the Judgment Minute situation, I honestly think they might just dissolve the group. I don't think they're going to. I don't think the Judgment hasn't been any relevant as of lately since Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest. Damian Priest. Since they split up, I don't think they haven't been ever relevant after that. I think the Judgment was Daniel Priest and I keep saying
Damian Priest.
Damian, yeah, sorry, I keep thinking Damian Priest. Damian Priest and Rhea. I think they were the true Judgment Day. But after them leaving, I think it's just kind of came irrelevant. I know Dominic had tried to do some things, but I like Finn Balor, but put him in the group setting, it wasn't the best. I think Finn Balor does better more of a single guy. Just because I think I never seen him. I mean, I think it's the first time I've seen him be a tag team with anything. But ever since I've seen him, it's always been a single. I mean, that's when I've seen him. So I'm like, I could be wrong. Maybe he wasn't in a tag team with someone, but
he was in a Bullet Club.
Oh yeah, he was in a Bullet Club. Yeah,
he was Bullet Club member.
So, but he's been in a group before. I never seen him like in an actual group. So I always saw him in a single setting. So that's why I think he thrives more of a single because he does that. But I mean, like I said, like I think the Judgment. Excuse me. I don't think the Judgment they have been relevant since Damian and Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley left the group. They bring some in and outs, but I just don't think. And then also like Finn Balor going to NXT, having his own theme music. I think people forget how good Finn Balor is as a babyface, and I think just like I think he is an overrated wrestler. I mean, not overrated. Sorry, the underrated wrestler. Sorry, underrated wrestler. Sorry, underrated wrestler. I think the push, and it sucks why he got the push and then he got injured, and after that nothing happened. So he just kind of played in it. But you can, like I said, he's a very well wrestler, and I think he is underrated a lot of wrestlers. So I think he deserves more of a push. That's why I don't think. I know we talked about this, about Seth Rollins. I mean, Dominic probably dropping the belt to Rusev, which I think will be okay on Monday because Rusev does need some kind of push. But I think dropping the IC title more to Finn Balor will be more of a thing because you're kind of hinting. You're kind of more hinting that they're going to have a rivalry between them two. So I don't think. I think what I'm thinking is most likely might drop the IC title to Finn Balor than Rusev.
Yeah, I definitely think that's gonna be more down the line, down possible.
We'll have to see tomorrow. So, all right. So moving on. So the last thing that happened in Raw. Did you guys see the Asuka and Rhea Ripley match?
Yeah, 10 out of 10, phenomenal match.
Yeah, did you guys like it?
Phenomenal match. It was great. It was beautiful.
Yeah, well, I want to talk about, the ending because, we already saw when Rhea Ripley rolled up Asuka up for the pin, and when Asuka wanted Kairi Sane to interfere, but Kairi Sane hold back, and that's when Rhea Ripley got the win, and then she got, what is it called? She got poisoned or mist?
The mist.
Poison.
Yeah, that's just the mist, bro. Yeah, it's like what Tajiri used to do.
Yeah, so and then Io Sky came out, and then that's when we saw, the Asuka heel turn, which, I felt like it was like a big pop for Asuka, because I feel like Asuka really does well being, I like Asuka a lot. I think she's one of my favorite female wrestlers to watch right now. And just seeing her turn heel on Io is really cool because when you think of where did the grip damage control, I mostly think of Asuka, and I know Io Sky already had her world title run, but I think this is probably gonna help see who's on top with Asuka and Io Sky, because right now I do enjoy watching Io Sky matches. I think she's a really good wrestling performer. She, at WrestleMania against Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair was a 10 out of 10, match.
Facts.
And then also another triple threat match with Rhea Ripley and Naomi was, in my opinion, another 10 out of 10 match. And Io Sky had really good matches, single matches with Rhea Ripley and other female superstars. Or now she will most likely, or the storyline's going where she's gonna have to go against her best friend Asuka. And where, in your guys' opinion, what do you guys like about Asuka turning heel? Do you think it's a good call that Asuka turned heel and having a storyline with Io Sky?
I haven't seen Asuka. Like I said, I'm barely coming back. I don't watch wrestling as I used to because my work schedule. So I'm trying to catch up a lot of it. But so I thought Asuka was already a heel, but I guess she wasn't. So I mean, I think she played a heel before.
Wait. But you probably gotta remember because she was out for maybe almost a year or over a year.
Yeah.
And she came back and became I'll say a baby face. So yeah. So probably that's why you probably think she was still a heel. I don't know. So
yeah.
So yeah, but continue. Sorry.
No, I think she does good as a heel. Now that it seems like we need more. I don't know. The women division is kind of tricky because I think, just like I said, I'm trying to catch up on a lot of the wrestling stuff. So I don't know who's heel, who's face, and all that stuff. Other than I know more on the men's side of it, but the women's just kind of tricky. It's just trying to catch up in wrestling. So, I think it's okay. Like she did play as a heel before, so I think just keep at it. And I do like the storyline with the storytelling right now. What's going to happen? I don't know what's the other wrestler's name that she's. No, the other one.
Kari Sane.
Yeah. Okay. So it's kind of. It's fun, like like the whole thing, the drama of it. Like she didn't want to turn on Evil Sky or anything like that, and Asuka like telling her what to do. So I think that was like that kind of drew me in a little bit. I was like, oh, this is interesting. Like what's going on here? So it did came so like that part of it, like coming back to the wrestling thing, like this is someone that's like inside out, just sitting down. It's like, oh, this is drama. What's going to happen? So it did tune me into the story for sure. So I'm kind of, I guess, invested to the story, and I do like Rhea Ripley a lot. So I'm probably not like the biggest fan of Rhea Ripley, but I mean I do like her. I think what she does is good. But just seeing her do something actually for a little for after a while, it's kind of, I'm kind of glad they're going to push her to do something. So it's give her something to do because Rhea Ripley, I feel like it did. She kind of, I feel like they just kind of didn't know what to do with her like after Dominic. I know she had some here their matches, but other than that, like I don't think they had something useful for her. But I think now she's going to be relevant again. So which is I'm kind of for all the Rhea Ripley fans like. That's good, I guess. But like I said, I think she's a good wrestler, but I just wasn't. I'm not really a big fan of like, not as big as fan as Rhea Ripley. So
Yeah, I mean, I think the heel turn was amazing. Probably the best heel turn we've had this year since John Cena. Um, I mean, it was something, probably something you didn't see planning. I mean, yeah, she was very demanding backstage with her partners, like, oh, don't talk to like Rhea Ripley, and then you had that weird intervention with like Nikki Bella and then Rhea Ripley and all that. So I mean, you kind of felt like it was coming. Um, and for that to be the main event was once again. I mean, the women's division now in modern wrestling has been great, and I mean, Asuka and Rhea Ripley put out a 10 out of 10 match on a Monday Night Raw, which was like amazing. And then that, like I said, that heel turn was great. I mean, the crying, and then telling her to like go do more damage to her, and she didn't want to. Like it was heartbreaking, because like those three had like a beautiful, they're like a family. They all three came from Japan. They're all three, were in Tokyo Dome and everything. And then they're in the biggest event in WWE, and that heel turn was great. It was like Asuka obviously is phenomenal. Whether she's face, whether she's heel, like she can do it both. But the story building toward it, I think, was great. So yeah, I mean, it was fun to watch.
I agree. Alright, well, those all that I thought were all the big storylines. We're gonna move on to SmackDown. We've seen Jacob Fatu return. We see MFT. I think that's the group with Solo Sikoa. Trying to take over SmackDown with his faction. But I think too that I really like that I want to talk about today on the pod was Sami Zayn's U.S. title run. So we recently had was it John Cena? Was that his first opponent on the U.S. title? I think it was John Cena.
Yeah, because he won it the week before.
Yeah, he won it the week before, and then he went against John Cena, which was a really good match. And then the following week we had Sami Zayn against Rey Fenix, which Rey Fenix was like a superstar in that match. It was a really good match. And I believe there was one more before this last match against Javon Evans. And, Sami Zayn is reminding me of, John Cena when he did the open the open title matches. So just want to get on your guys' thoughts of like Sami Zayn in his U.S. title run, and more of your guys' thoughts on it, because like it's kind of hard for me to word it, because like this is Sami Zayn's his first title in a while, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like his run, and like what you guys think is next for Sami Zayn. Because right now I've been reading the comments, because we all know that his best friend Kevin Owens, he was a heel. He's right now injured, and I believe I've been reading a lot of the comments that Kevin Owens is going to come back, and he's going to have a match with with Sami Zayn in the Open Challenge title match. But just kind of want to see what you guys' thoughts on Sami Zayn in his title matches or in his matches.
Well, one, I think it's great that he's bringing back the U.S. Open challenges. I mean, obviously Cena did it, and I enjoyed that because you would see some really good upcoming superstars that would come out first. So for Sami Zayn to represent and redoing that, I think is kind of cool. Also, Sami Zayn, he's one that I believe should have been in a world champion a while ago. He's one that I feel like, I think it's hinting around the corner. I think this is why he got a U.S. title push, maybe to see how far he can take it, and showing that he can be a good contender for a spot of the big titles, either with the World Heavyweight Champion or the WWE Championship. I think this is kind of like a preview of what we will get from Sami. If he impresses, I think he'll get that opportunity down the road. So that's what I think. I think his U.S. title run is one has been phenomenal. Him defending it every week, I think, has been proving that he's a champion worth defending his gold, and then not even that, but then giving these sparks. Even like he fought Mello, right? He wrestled Mello on this last weekend or this last Friday. Phenomenal match. I mean, so far, like Sami Zayn has been he's been putting this title on the line every Friday night, and every Friday night it's been a banger of a match. It's been a banger plus a banger, and then another banger. So he's giving people relevancy, which is what you want to see every week, and bringing that challenge in where like every week could he drop it? Is there going to be a worthy opponent to drop it? And I think that's what makes it a really fun title run, is when you're putting it on the line on a weekly basis. But towards your question, like I said, I think his run has been at a 10 out of 10. We'll see who he drops it to down the road, but I don't think he's dropping it anytime soon. Maybe the Kevin Owens coming back, you'll get maybe 2 or 3 matches with that, if they're going to hint towards a rivalry there, because Sami is a heel. Am I not mistaken? He's supposed to be heel, right? Because when he beat Jacob, he was heel, right?
No, he beat Solo Sikoa.
Solo Sikoa, yeah, but he was
Solo. He was a face because Solo is a heel.
Okay.
Fatu was the one that turned face.
Because didn't he cut that promo where he was like pissed at the company and couldn't he should be relevant and he wasn't relevant. Like I could have swore that promo put him at a heel, but anyways, I could be wrong. But I totally thought he was because when he came out and interrupted John Cena, I thought it was that turn. But anyways, the title run, he's doing great with it. I hope he continues with it, and if he meets Kevin Owens in a couple of weeks down the road and they're able to turn that into like a 2 or 3 match thing, I think that'd be awesome to see. Especially, I mean, those two have been great, and since the NXT days, I mean, those two had a great rivalry back and forth with the NXT titles back and forth. So I mean, it would be fun to watch that again.
I mean, another Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens match. I don't think it's the best idea if Kevin Owens comes back. I just think I don't know. For me, it's getting kind of stale with a lot of Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens having a match again. But they do put good matches, which is good. But I'm just over it at this point with them always being friends, and then Kevin turns on Sami. It's like repetitive, rinse and repeat with those two. So I don't think it'll be the best ideal for them to have a title match. I think it's best just to separate them at the moment. But Sami Zayn, overall, I think he's one of those other ones that are underrated wrestlers. I don't know why he never got a push as well, but I mean, where he's at, I mean, and Sami, you can tell he loves the business. He loves what he does, and if he didn't, he'll be probably more, probably leave WWE, go somewhere else. But I think he does genuinely likes wrestling. You can tell that every day. He does, even though you can give him a crappy segment or crappy or mess up things, but he's going to give it 100%. I think that's very prevalent with Sami Zayn. You can see that in when he wrestles and when he does so. I'm kind of glad he has a title on him. I think I would like it. I would mind him being some kind of champion, either the heavyweight champion or the WWE champion at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if he wants to have that opportunity. I mean, just talking back, but I think he did. I think back in the day he should have serve a shot just because he is good. I think he can put matches. But I just think he just never had the opportunity to be a main event on the WWE main roster. So, but I mean, like I said, he's a good champion. I think at the moment that he's good. I love a lot of his matches. I love his segments, especially with the Bloodline, and so I think like I said, whatever you put him in, I think he's going to give it 100%. And I think same thing
and he gives you everything. He gives you all different types of styles, which is what he's so good at. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing with John Cena, and when I saw that match, I was like, "What the heck? Why is this same fighting John Cena?" I didn't realize it was an open challenge until later on. So, and just giving those two, just because I think this is their first matchup ever. I don't think they gotten before, and I think it was they both did great. I think it was like for a TV match, it was a very good match. So I think they took practically half the show that match. So I think they did very well. So like I said, I don't doubt Sami Zayn as a champion. I think he's going to do well with it's just I don't doubt the wrestlers. I just doubt the company how they're going to treat the wrestlers. That is the thing. So what kind of segment they're going to put them in? What kind of so like I said, I don't doubt Sami Zayn. I just doubt how they're going to run things with Sami Zayn. So yeah.
Right. And a little fun fact about that too is that I think that match John Cena did a tribute to Edge with the spear, and then I think that same weekend Edge paid a tribute. Well, he's Adam Copeland over in AEW paid tribute to John Cena with doing his "You Can't See Me" with follow up with the 5-knuckle shuffle too, which was pretty cool. Just a little side note there. I thought that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, him paying homage to Edge, and did he do the angle slam? I can't remember.
Yeah, he did the angle slam too.
That was pretty cool. All right, then the last thing I want to talk about in SmackDown, because there's a whole lot that I feel like we can talk about this for hours about wrestling. With Jade Cargill having like a cut on her face from a botch from Nia Jax, and a whole bunch of other things like the Wyatt Six beating, or was it the Street? Oh no, those
the Street Profits.
Yeah, the Street Profits are the #1 contender.
Well, that was weird too, right? Because the guy didn't help Miz out, right, to kick out.
Yeah, he didn't help Miz. Yeah, so but yeah, there's so much that we could talk about. But I think most importantly, we see Cody Rhodes, in SummerSlam beating, I was gonna say suppose heel John Cena, but that John Cena turned babyface, and Cody Rhodes, beat John Cena, and that was his first title defense since beating John Cena, or was that his second title defense?
Who, Cody?
Yeah.
Cody, BC Clash in Paris. Oh, and he didn't wrestle in Clash in Paris, did he?
He did not wrestle.
He did Clash in Paris, and then he had WrestlePalooza against Drew McIntyre. Drew was his first opponent?
Yeah,
since he won it, since SummerSlam? No way, really? Dang. Well, August. Yeah, it was in August. So, here's the thing. I think we're stepping into an era. Well, I think we saw it with when Jey Uso won the World Heavyweight Champion, and then he dropped his title on a random Raw. I was hoping that was going to lead into an effect where we will see more title changes on these live events. that are not PLEs. And I was, hoping we would see more of that. So I still think we will. I don't think Cody Rhodes takes the WWE Championship into WrestleMania. That's just my opinion. I mean, he's working on Street Fighter movie. He's working on some other stuff. So I think he's going to drop the belt here soon. Now, whether that's going to be Randy or that's going to be Drew McIntyre, that's just a question. But him dropping the title, I see it coming in the near future, and for me personally, I hope it's Randy. I mean, you guys know I glaze over him. He's one of my favorites from when I was a kid. I love Randy Orton, and I think he only has a few years left on this, and giving him one more big title run would be great for me. Like I said, I'm a hardcore RKO fan. He's been one of my top 3 forever. Love Randy, and I would love for him to win it, but I would also love for him to win it like on a random SmackDown. Like I don't think you need a PLE to drop the titles. That you got to make these relevant. I mean, how many times did we see the WWE switch hands on a random Friday night SmackDown? Growing up, like we would see these title swaps happening very often, and then there was a time period where the only time they're going to happen are at PLEs, and you had Brock Lesnar who only shows up at PLEs, and it was like, you never had that moment to bring it in, because for me it's that, if you want people to tune into Raw and SmackDown, you got to make it relevant, where like, okay, it's Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre versus the WWE Championship, that will make me tune into SmackDown, that will make me tune into a Raw, and then for a potential title swap, if it happened once already with Gunther and Jey Uso, like why can't we have it again? Like that's just my opinion. I want there to be more title changes in these live events, and then we shouldn't be having a hope for a PLE. PLE should be for like the top end stuff, where people put up like 10 out of 10 bangers. That's what we're hoping for. But yeah, I mean, Cody, his title run has been okay. I mean, I think maybe down the road he turns heel. I think he wants to. There's been him being compared to Homelander from The Boys, so it's like, and he wants to be kind of like that. I think he loves that. He wants to be something like around there. And I would love to see it. I want to see a heel Cody Rhodes. I think that will bring him up more than where he's at. I mean, lately, right now, currently, I don't think no one's put the company on their back than Cody Rhodes has, like within the last 2 years. And I think he's a fun guy to watch. I mean, he may not be everybody's favorite style, but he is fun to watch. I mean, the match he had with John Cena at SummerSlam was a banger of a match. If he keeps putting like those type of matches, I think he'll be considered up there, but for sure. But, I see in the near future he drops the title, but I would love it to be a Randy, but I could also see Drew McIntyre still in the picture, maybe a triple threat down the road. But I think here close, pretty soon, I think we'll see a heel Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, I could see that, or I could see people are speculating or thinking that it might not be Cody Rhodes, because right now Cody Rhodes with the kids, he's pretty popular with the little kids, kind of like a John Cena kind of thing. But I've been hearing a lot of people saying that it's most likely could be Randy Orton turning heel on Cody Rhodes for the belt. But the reason why I bring up Cody Rhodes, because we saw Cody Rhodes beat John Cena, who was the big megastar, the superstar, the face of WWE for so many years. And now Cody Rhodes, when he beat Roman Reigns, and now I'm just thinking like, well, who can be it's mentioning like a worthy opponent for Sami Zayn, and trying to figure out who could be the worthy opponent for Cody Rhodes, because right now on the top of my head we see Drew McIntyre, who is still like the top. He could be in main events. Also Randy Orton. One person that I wish, but I don't know, because right now he just came back for Drew McIntyre, is having Jacob Fatu go for the title as well, because they brought Jacob Fatu in the WWE as like a beast. He was a beast. Like every time, like he looked like he was about to
he was a monster.
He was about to like Like every time when he was trying to like have a chance with someone like Roman Reigns or somebody, like Solo Sikoa like gets him out of the situation right away. You know, trying to like push him to be more like, you know, like you don't want to mess with Jacob Fatu. So I could see Jacob Fatu being, you know, one of like a main eventers, and being like a worthy opponent for
For a title run.
And, yeah, for a title run match. And also, you know, and also maybe Solo Sikoa as well, being the leader of
He's getting
faction.
there.
Yeah, he's getting there. You know, I love Solo Sikoa. I think he's probably like one of the funniest and entertaining like wrestlers out there. You know, and you know, I'm not saying like funniest like in the bad way, but he is really entertaining. He could cut good promos and all that. But yeah, but just right now, just seeing Cody Rhodes, you know, beating like mega stars and like big stars, I'm just like trying to think of like, well, I just want to know like what your thoughts on like who could be like that next opponent taking that belt off of Cody Rhodes.
Well, for me, the thing is, who can? It's kind of interesting with that situation because, I mean, if you want to put a Randy, that's fine. Like, I think Randy does deserve another title shot.
It would be his last one for sure.
And I think I won't mind that. But if you're, the thing is, like, right now, everyone is kind of like the situation that I feel like WWE is in right now. It's like they're not pushing a lot of stars to the top. Like they're pushing them to like the mid card part of it, but I don't think they're pushing them to the top. And I think that's because we have a different shift. We know we have Triple H taking charge because you know who. When Vince McMahon was running, you kind of knew who was going to push and who was going to be the next star.
Yeah,
but now since Vince McMahon not there, like he doesn't have a specific favorite. It's just kind of interesting how who can be the next WWE champion, and I think that's in a good way because it does play a lot of people who are hungry and want to be in the main event. I think Jacob Fatu, my man, like that guy is like freaking love that guy. He's a freaking beast.
Yeah.
But the way he is right now, I think he's not a main eventer yet. Just because we haven't seen a lot like a momentum going towards him right now. Being him having the United States champion at the one point was good, but I just feel like he lost it too quickly.
I agree.
It just didn't give him. I just think it didn't give him that much of a push. So if he wanted to be a main eventer, I think he should have been longer with that United States champion. So it is kind of interesting with that situation because it is. I just like being right now. We're still like we're going to October practically this week, so it's just kind of interesting who can. I mean, there's still a lot till WrestleMania. I don't think they're going to change the title anytime soon. If they're going to change the title, they might give it to Randy Orton, but I honestly think Cody Rhodes might have it until WrestleMania because I don't see it switching titles unless it's like an emergency and they probably have to give it to a top star.
Well, like I said, he's filming a movie, so he's got to drop it soon. Like he can't be a champion and film a movie at the same time.
When's the movie coming out?
They already started recording, so that's the same. He's gonna drop it eventually, like probably in the next couple of weeks.
I don't think it's gonna be a couple of weeks, so I think he's gonna keep it still. I just don't think it's. Like I said, if it's gonna be someone, then the storyline should be building right now. So why we're going to drop it, have it like a random thing? And then I think it's like who's gonna drop it to, and that's the worst thing. Is like dropping it at a random. It's just kind of like interesting.
Well,
and I know fans.
When's Crown Jewel? When's Crown Jewel?
It's the upcoming pay per view, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, October 11th.
Who is he facing? Do we have an opponent for him?
Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins for the.
Yeah,
the
so
title.
It's like. For what?
For that Saudi Arabia title.
No, it's not even for like.
Yeah, it's just like a ring they get.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
It's not nothing.
It's not a title match, so that's what I'm saying. I think Cody Rhodes might have it until.
So it's not this Saturday; it's the following Saturday, right? So then, if you're gonna be like realistic here, like you could see him dropping it like
But
Friday
whom, though?
after that. Well, that's
But
what I'm
to
saying.
whom?
I mean, I'm just saying. I'm just speaking, just in reverence, like thinking about like just because he's going to be filming a movie. Like that's my thing. It's like he's going to eventually drop it. He won't be able to. He won't be able to do both.
I mean, or he could be like a little part timer for now because, Roman Reigns was a part timer when he because he struggled.
That's what I'm saying, but I mean, you still have the thing with Drew McIntyre and Randy. I think those three right there are still like somewhere in a mix of a story building. So I think somewhere around that, Randy coming out and helping him against the Vision, that's still a thing. And like I said, eventually it's going to turn out. I read somewhere on Twitter, I don't know how legit this was, but supposedly Randy was supposed to come out at WrestlePalooza and like help Rhodey, but accidentally screws up and then loses the title, which was supposed to lead Cody into being a heel. But who knows if that stuff's legit or not. But supposedly that was rumored. So like I said, I think the Randy and Cody, I think we're going to be getting that very soon, where maybe Cody drops it to Randy.
We'll have to stay tuned.
But I honestly think he'll probably keep it until WrestleMania. The person I would like him to drop it to, I think Logan Paul will be one of the ones he could probably drop it to. Logan Paul has been.
Be careful what you're saying there.
He could be a minute. I mean, I will be the first one to admit.
I love Logan Paul, dude. I love Logan Paul. I like
Logan Paul as a wrestler. To be honest, I don't think. I mean,
same.
He shows like I'm actually a fan of Logan. Like as a wrestler, I'm a fan of him because he's put in the work. So I would like him. Like Logan Paul has the potential of being a main event, eventer, but that'll be a cool storyline too because Logan Paul is a heel. He's legit, like from Dominic and Logan Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Logan Paul is straight up a heel. People still boo him even though he's a phenomenal wrestler. But I think just to put it in work, but I think you need a good heel with Cody Rhodes, and I think Logan Paul has that charisma, has the thing to be that heel to Cody. So that's just my opinion about it. I think Logan Paul could go. I mean, I'll be crazy main eventing WrestleMania with
it's
Cody
coming.
Rhodes.
Yeah,
but I think that like all of the people that are hungry for it. You can see that Logan Paul is more hungry. He sacrificed his own body. He freaking tore his ACL. He's putting his body on the line for a lot of the matches. I think that another person I can think that can probably drop the title to Cody could drop is LA Knight. LA Knight he's another one that is.
But he's on Raw though.
I mean, the draft is coming. I mean, they can do things. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, you still have because you still have the championship that for Seth Rollins is going to be CM Punk, and Seth Rollins it's going to be the main event, one of the main events for WrestleMania. That's it's going to happen.
That's too long. Too many things will happen. I don't think so. That's way too long because eventually, you're hinting at the Roman and Seth is going to happen.
It's going to happen because CM Punk never had a main event as a main event for WrestleMania.
Yes, he had this last WrestleMania. This last WrestleMania, he main evented.
Yeah, but he didn't.
It don't matter. But his biggest thing was being a main event. He got it.
But I think he's going to. No, but I think he's going to be the actual main event, and he's going to become his champion. So I think they're going to hold off until
but I don't think Seth's carrying that.
It doesn't matter how long it is. Like, how long did freaking Roman Reigns had the champion? He had it for years, it seemed like, and then it doesn't matter how long.
For 2 years. But
so that's what I'm saying. It doesn't they can hold it. They can hold it for CM Punk, and I think CM Punk is going to win it. If they win it sooner, I'll be surprised. But I think that's going to be. And then what's going to be the plans after that? So I think it is going to lead up to Seth Rollins unless they do it earlier.
I don't know, man. I don't know about that one. But I will say though, going back to your Logan Paul, I think people have to take away Logan Paul as the YouTuber and like this podcaster guy, and like separate the two with like the in-ring talent. I mean, the dude's a 10 out of 10 talent. I mean, you know, they compare him a lot to Kurt Angle, not because they have the same styles. It's more because like they adapted to like the business really, really quick. You know, they understand and understood like what the in-ring requires you to do. And for people that like look at Logan Paul wrestling and don't see like a true athlete in there, it's ridiculous to me. I mean, the John Cena match that he had at Clash in Paris, phenomenal match. I mean, the dude, yeah,
and that proves a lot. So
exactly,
I think the person that he could probably drop it to is probably Logan Paul.
But you're not wrong with LA Knight either. I mean, I think LA Knight's one that, you know, he's been close every single time he gets an opportunity. He's like right there and doesn't seem to get that last push on it. And he's one that I feel too that you know, probably somewhere down the road he gets his opportunity.
And he has a good charisma too. And LA Knight can play
the crowd,
baby, can play baby in a heel. So he kind of, I just feel bad because he does have a lot of the
Rock
character, of the Rock, and that's the thing.
Well, and they sound alike too, which is like funny.
So and I think you can play him as both if you need someone that for because I just feel there's too many heels, on my perspective, in WWE. There's not a lot of good baby faces in WWE in general. So I think it's LA Knight can be both. He could be both of a heel or a baby face for just depending on what they need for that night. So yeah, but I think LA Knight is another person. Drew McIntyre. I mean, I like Drew McIntyre. I mean, there's like so many like underrated wrestlers that have the potential for, and it's just like
Jinder Mahal.
And Jinder Mahal had a freaking
he came back.
And then I was like, what the heck? So I'm like, it's just that.
It was funny. I think Chris Van Vliet interviewed him, and he was saying about how like the announcer was like, "Oh, here he comes, an ex-WWE superstar," and everybody got their phones out. Then they heard Jinder Mahal's music, and everybody put their phones down. I felt bad for that, dude. I love Jinder.
And that's the thing, because Jinder lost all the weight, he became buff, and loved that, and he got the push. So it is kind of interesting now that how things have been, because there is a lot of talent now that are hungry. You can actually see that. And that want to be the next top, and I think because there's no more Vince McMahon that chooses favorites anymore, and that was the big issue. That because if Vince McMahon was still in WWE, I think he would have pushed more Braun Breaker. Yeah, I think he would have pushed him.
Brock Lesnar.
No,
he probably would have. He loved Brock Lesnar, dude.
But.
But to your point though, it's that because Vince McMahon's no longer in charge now, it's Triple H or Paul, whatever you want to call him. Because now we're in this era. That's why for me, I feel this whole idea of like, okay, a champion gets the belt and now he holds that up to WrestleMania, whether it takes 18 months, 17 months, whatever, he's going to hold it all the way up until that moment. And I mean. Like I said, I think it is cool. It is fun. I mean, I think you could do that with certain ones. I think Roman Reigns was perfect just because he was the big dog. He was the tribal chief. He was, he had that charisma where like, okay, this is somebody that you have to play along with. Like he's going to hold this title for a long time. And then I think there's others like Seth Rollins, like Cody Rhodes, where like, okay, they're good champions. They're not terrible, but they've been champions so often where you can play that role of like, okay, we can drop it here, we can drop it there with them every now and then do some builds up. But for Seth to hold it all the way to WrestleMania, now anything can happen. I just think we're in an era now where anything can happen, and I think that's the focus that we should have it in, is that anything can happen any moment. We've had some crazy comebacks already. We've had some crazy people coming back. I think wasn't it main event yesterday, Saturday main event, and didn't wasn't there a new NXT champion last night?
Oh yeah, No Mercy.
Yeah, No Mercy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. See, so like I said, I think we're stepping into an era where like anything can happen. Like watch my event, and this will happen. We just had the TNA invasion, which we haven't even touched in yet. I think we're in a great era in WWE. And I say WWE specifically because I know there's AEW, I know there's Ring of Honor, there's Japan, there's like all these great wrestling shows that you can watch. But I think with WWE specifically, what era we're dropping into is that like watch my show every week, because every week something different will happen. And so far it's been delivering to a point, and I think we should have that mentality where like this title can switch tonight. Tomorrow there's the Intercontinental Champion on the line. Rusev could be the next Intercontinental Champion, which I wouldn't mind. I think we're all agree with that, right? If Dominic loses that, it really want to hurt his character. But I think we're like dropping into that moment now where I think if Seth loses it on a random Raw, I don't think it's bad no more. I think we got to step into that era of saying, okay, like we want all eyes on deck, and the only way to get all eyes on deck is to tune in every week. We're going to promote this title being on the line. This title's on the line, and if you want to see that title swap, you got to tune in live to watch it. I think we're stepping into there because that's what we want. I think a lot of wrestling fans want something different every week, and that's something that we will get.
Well, then you're gonna step in also. Then what's the point of having pay-per-views? If that's the case, like you also got to be careful, like with that, they're not going to change titles because then what's the point of WWE signing contracts with pay-per-views if they're going to?
Dude, I mean, look at WrestlePalooza. It was one of the worst PLEs they've had in like a long time, and that's even including John Cena and Brock Lesnar being the opening match. That included like all these high-end performers, and WrestlePalooza was probably one of the worst. If it wasn't for Stephanie Vaquer and Io Sky's match, that whole PLE would have been a flop. Like,
well, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying it's like, what's the point of having pay-per-views if you're going to switch the titles?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's the reason why, because you're creating more build-up. Like, if I show up on a Raw and a title switches, and I'm like, okay, a PLE's coming up, then I want to tune into that PLE now because now I know things are getting more interesting. And then that creates a more dominant effect. Then people are like, oh, you know what? I will pay $30 to watch ESPN because this title thing happened at Raw. Why couldn't it happen at a $30 event that I can pay and watch? You know what I mean? It's getting you back eyes on deck. Like whether it drops at a free live event, whether it drops in a PLE, that's where I'm getting at. Is that like you're making the choice to go watch it because WWE stepping up their game and saying, if you're not tuning in to these PLEs, if you're not tuning into Monday Night Raw, you're not tuning into NXT and SmackDown, then you are going to miss probably one of the biggest moments in history. And I think that's why that's the era we're coming into, and that's the era that we should be thinking about. We're like, okay, yeah, Cody Rhodes is facing Drew McIntyre. He's not going to drop it on Friday Night SmackDown. Roman Reigns had this title for like 2 years. There's no way he's going to, but it could happen. And I think we should have that mindset because then you carry it over to the next PLE.
But that mindset never is gone. It's always been there. But let's say it's like if they're going to start dropping titles like crazy in Raw or SmackDown, then what is even the point?
Well, I'm not saying you're going to drop it every week, but I think you're right. I think you're right. I think the mindset is there, but I think we lost it. That's what I'm getting at. I think we lost it. Brock Lesnar hold that title for so darn time, and you only saw him twice or 3 times a year. That was bad for business. And obviously, Vince McMahon, and don't get me wrong, I love Brock Lesnar. Love him to death. He is the beast. Like, growing up watching him, I watched him when he was in UFC. Love Brock Lesnar. But like when someone like that comes into the business and then holds that title and you only see him 2 or 3 times out of the year, that hurts the business. That's why someone like Roman Reigns coming in and holding the title, then he holds it for 2 years, but he's showing up on a weekly basis or he's showing up on a monthly basis. That's good for business, But now I think we should step into a momentum where it's like, okay, every week something different is going to happen, and I think that's what we got to carry on, because like you said, like the PLEs have to mean something now. if we're gonna be doing title swaps every now and then, now the PLEs, we gotta build the PLEs better, because we cannot have any more performances like WrestlePalooza. WrestlePalooza was a joke. It has to increase, and the way to do that is to make it more, bringing that back. Like you said, like it was always there, but like it's been missing for a while. It's always there, but it's been missing, and I think we just have to bring that focus back to every week, every PLE, something can happen. You just have to tune in.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, it's kind of like what The Undertaker said in one of his podcasts. Is just we have to sit down and just enjoy the show, because one of the things that since social media has gotten popular is that I feel like we get like before even like the event happens, I feel like we already know what's happening, and I feel like we spoil ourselves of like what's going to happen, of like someone coming back, or I feel like they're trying to bring back surprises. I would say
the kayfabs.
Bring back kayfabe. Well,
and which that I do agree to a point, because I do agree that social media is ruining a lot of the wrestling. A lot of things get leaked. A lot of things get who's going to change the belt and all that stuff. So I do understand, like they'll try to play the aspect of it, like, oh, you gotta tune in because things get switched. But I think there's a reason why there's pay-per-views, is so they want to make it a big hype type thing. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. You're good. Like I agree. Like I feel like we spoil ourselves, and everything's get leaked, that nothing feels like a surprise anymore like it did before. Where like back then I feel like you had to watch the match that you guys bring up, like the Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar match, where there was like title changes, and you had to like tune in on who's gonna win between those matches, or a lot of those kind of types of matches back then. So I just feel like we leak ourselves in trying to have those surprises here like once again. Alright, so I want to get on this last topic before we close this podcast. So we have John Cena. He has 5 dates left, and we already know one of them is AJ Styles at Perth, and was it Crown Jewel? Mm-hmm. And I'm really excited. I hope there was like a little bit of like a story, kind of just like, hey, like not like a story, like a long-term story, more like AJ Styles and John Cena came face to face and just say like, you want to run it one more time, or anything like that, just for nostalgia. But yeah, I know one of the matches is AJ Styles against John Cena, and after that he has four more dates. I'm not exactly sure if they're 4 more matches or just 4 more
appearances.
Appearances, yeah. So far we know AJ Styles is one of his matches. There's a rumor that Dominic Mysterio might be one of John Cena's matches. Dominic Mysterio even called him out too, that John Cena hasn't become a Grand Slam champion because he never was Intercontinental Champion. So if Dominic Mysterio wins against Rusev, then I can see Dominic putting the Intercontinental title on the line against John Cena, but
he's got to win it though.
Yeah, I know.
John's got to.
That's right.
Put him over.
Yeah, but most likely I feel like John is going to put Dominic Mysterio over. But yeah, if he has the 5 or I don't know 4 more matches after the AJ Styles, who would you guys like to see John Cena push or put over? I would say, or any matches that like nostalgia matches that you like to see John Cena have.
Well, okay, like we got 4 more appearances that are confirmed. I mean, there's some other dates that are going to happen, but we don't even know if he's going to participate in them or not. So I'm hoping maybe 1 or 2 we will get like a surprise entry. Probably get a surprise pop when he just like, Monday night starts and then you just hear the dun 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 dun, out of nowhere. I think that'd be kind of cool if we get 1 or 2 of those towards the end of his tour. If not, I mean, obviously we got the AJ Styles. I mean, everybody wanted that. I think. I mean, I don't care. I mean, I don't mind that it's in Crown Jewel. I was hoping he would have been one of his last opponents. like you said, like maybe there would have been a little bit of a build up. But I think him and AJ for me was more of a worthy of like a last opponent, unless they already have that made. Whether he's putting someone over. I think that Dominic Mysterio, if he were to face him, it'll probably be second to last. I don't think it'll be his last one. And then so that gives me 3 left. I would love for it to be Randy on one of those. Him and Randy had some great back and forths. So that would be fun. We already had him and Punk, so I think him and Punk are done. Maybe he puts another talent over. And for me, my dream would be him and Edge. If we could find a way to Edge to come back to WWE for a one-nighter and that be his last opponent, that would make me cry. I don't think there has been any other rivalry in WWE since from those two. I mean, you had Brett and Shawn Michaels. That was a hard one. You had Triple H and Shawn Michaels was also a really good rivalry. Undertaker, HBK is the GOAT. He's been everybody's top rivalry. But I think Edge and Cena, those two battled some of the craziest matches growing up. When John Cena did the FU, well, back then it was called the FU, now it's called the Attitude Adjustment. When he did that through all those 10 stacks of tables coming down, for me that would be my dream if we could get Edge and Cena one last time for a goodbye, because I think Edge is also around the corner of being done. So I think if we get Cena Edge, for me that would be my childhood dream. Will it happen? Probably not. Because obviously Edge is still at AEW, and in order for him to come over, he's got to have that contract to be done. But I think someone on Twitter already did the math, and it is possible, that he could come to WWE because his contract would technically be done by then. But then again, you got to get WWE involved and then get them to sign a contract. So many things, so many loopholes have to come to effect for that to happen. But if for some weird miracle it does happen, I would love that.
For sure. What about you, boy? Is there any talent that John Cena should put over, or any matches that these last 4 appearances after AJ Styles, we could say they are matches? Is there any matches that you would like to see from John Cena?
Well, obviously the main one is hopefully he does get a match with Dominic. I mean, the only one that he did push over is Logan Paul. That was a really good match overall. But I think the Dominic one should. I think it'll be good because he did wrestle Eddie Guerrero. He did wrestle Rey Mysterio. So it kind of makes sense that that John Cena does wrestle the son of both of them, both of Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio. So it makes sense to.
Oh, remember when John Cena beat Rey Mysterio for the WWE title?
I'm still heated about that.
Rey Mysterio just recently won. It was that same day, right?
Yeah. Rey Mysterio opened the match and won it, and then Cena beats him at the main event. It's what was Cena didn't need that, dude.
Yeah, so, but I would like to see that Dominic and John Cena will be a good one for his last match, or this couple. He has 4. We said 4. I mean, one of them is sort of going to take AJ Styles, so take after AJ is going to be 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
but if you already put Dominic, so then you have 2.
2. So I would like to see Dominic.
Wait. So we have 5 dates right now.
Mm-hmm.
With AJ Styles, it's 4.
Mm-hmm. But then Brawler just said that he thinks Dominic is 1, so now he's left to 3.
Yeah, I thought it was 2.
3,
so,
yeah.
3. Okay. It's kind of rough because after that, you kind of want to go into nostalgia in a way. So I think Randy should be one of them as well.
Nah, 100%.
It should be. It could be his last match because they do have chemistry, both of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
I think with Edge as well should be one of them, but I don't. Just like you said, I think that's going to be rough. But if it isn't Edge or Randy. It's just kind of hard because then he's just pushing the next talent over. So maybe Jacob Fatu.
No, that's good.
Be a good
that's
one.
a good one.
Or
Bronson Breed. People think Bronson too. Braun Breaker.
Yeah, I think Braun Breaker would be a good one too. Because he would push Logan Paul. Casey Jacobs Fatu a one. I would like to see another match with our Truth. I don't think that one match did it justice. Yeah, did it justice. That one time, I think they just kind of have to like it happened. It just happened. So I don't think that match did justice. So I think it'll be another match versus Archery. The John Cena's biggest fan versus him will be a good one.
John Cena's childhood hero
versus him that'll be a good match to see. But in reality, I think in all seriousness, I think Dominic will be one. I think Randy Orton should be one for nostalgia. Pushing over, I think Jacob Fatu should be another one because he is getting the push. Maybe LA Knight could be another one. Seth Rollins, I thought about that. I think Seth Rollins and John Cena would be a good one, but I think just the way how things are, I don't think it's going to happen.
And Seth don't need it. They've already wrestled like goodly before. They've had a few.
But I think they had a good matchup. I think both of them. I think because both of them, Seth is a technical wrestler and he can pull good matches. The same with John. I think it would be a good match to see. And just because I'm looking like his last 3 matches should be. I mean, his last 4 matches should be like I'm not saying like 5-star matches, but I mean it should. I mean, just be seeing like his last 4 matches should be good ones at least. And pushing people over, but I think Braun Breaker should be another one too. So yeah, I mean, it everything. I think maybe Triple H comes out of retirement for a little bit. I mean, that'd be a good match.
He's got a peacemaker, bro. Oh, he's gonna come out for that, dude.
So I don't know, man. Have a 2-minute match. I don't know, but yeah, I think. But nostalgia out of it, I think Randy Orton would be a good one. I think that should be his last match, to be honest. Like, I think Randy Orton should retire John Cena, but other than that, I don't know who else would it be. We already had Cody Rhodes already. Cody Rhodes, John Cena, that was another one. But yeah, I think that's just Dominic and Randy Orton. It's just hard.
I think those two for sure. I think if we get those two, it'd be satisfying.
Yeah.
You know, then the last 3, like you said, it could be a talent, it can be pushing a talent over, or it could be another nostalgic one. It'll be fine. But I think what most people would like to see is Dominic for sure and Randy for sure. I think those are the 2 for sure. I think everybody can agree we want to see at least those 2.
Yeah, and then we saw John Cena versus CM Punk already. So I mean, the matches of like all. Like, I don't know what would be a good dream match. The problem is like dream matches, like a lot of people are already retired, so it's kind of rough to see dream matches. And like, I would like to see another John Cena versus Undertaker, but Undertaker, that guy's already old. I don't want him to break another hip, and I think he should be done. So,
when they had that weird match in WrestleMania, right, where he beats him in like under a minute,
something like that. Yeah. So, like I said, I don't know that we had the crappy match versus with Brock Lesnar and him already. So, and I thought
that was a good match. It was good. I mean, it wasn't bad. It wasn't terrible, but it for me for a Brock and John Cena match, it should have lasted a lot more than what it did. That was a disappointing part.
But like I said, as long as I get my Randy Orton and Don Mysterio, I'll
same.
be happy. And the other 2, I think the other 2, it is whatever he wants or whatever. So.
Same.
For sure. Alrighty, well, I think we're gonna wrap this podcast up. Like again, if we talk about wrestling, I think we'll be here for hours. So I appreciate everyone. Appreciate my brothers being here in this podcast with me, and it's in, his debut on the Through the Table podcast, and we'll hopefully see him more and to hear his thoughts and inputs on certain things about wrestling. But thank you so much for watching. Please stay tuned for new episodes, hopefully once a week or every other week, but this time I'll stay on top of all the podcasts. But thank you so much, and see you guys later.
Bye.